Alright, it's not gonna let us go. Pablo is not the kind of guy to let a friend down. Tonight he found this note. Hey, little buddy, these woods are crowded. Let's go hunting. Grab a car and meet me at my place at Fairview Camp. BYOWAA.
Bring your own weapons and ammo.
Your pal Ash.
That's awesome.
I feel like he wouldn't know all that slang. Oh, we get Pablo for this. Okay.
Yeah, I love Pablo.
So I think we're going to be playing as Pablo now.
Yay, I love Pablo.
I thought every mission was going to be as Ash.
I love Pablo.
I wonder if the last one is also as Ash or if it's someone else now.
I don't know. But I want to learn how to make fish and chips.
Yeah, I'm cool. Pablo's a good character.
I love him. He looks good.
He does actually
look good. Let me see his face
good.
again.
Alright, well, let's get in the light.
Yeah,
Does he look
good.
like Ray Santiago to you?
He looks like Say Rantiago.
That makes sense. Close enough.
Just like Jill Marie Jones looked like Milgery Moans.
Oh, Jill Marie Jones. I can make a few moan jokes, alright.
Oh my.
She is gorgeous.
Banishing the dark, one light at a time.
Is that his voice?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
What?
I thought he sounded a little more high-pitched here.
I mean, maybe he's in like a voice studio.
That's true. That's true.
Do you think that the voices are loud enough?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm always worried about that when we're doing this.
I really like Pablo. He's awesome.
Pablo is awesome. He was one of those characters that at the beginning I was kind of like, I hope they go somewhere with this other than Ash fanboy, and they did, and I loved it.
Yeah, they went really well with him.
Shadows.
I thought they did a really good job with his character and, you know, making him more of an important character and giving him his own personality and his own plot lines and stuff. Honestly, like, if there was going to be a follow-up, like, movie or show about him and Kelly being the new, like, Ashes, along with Brandy, honestly, I'd be so into that. I would love to watch that.
The only thing is, it just doesn't feel like Evil Dead without Ash to me. But maybe...
I agree, but if they were going to do it without Ash, I would be very happy to see it with them.
Yeah, maybe Rise will make me feel different, because Evil Dead Rise is supposedly coming out, I think, later this year, actually.
I do wish Rise had some of the actors that we already knew of, though,
Well,
from the other series.
Maybe eventually they'll introduce them, because,
I'd like that.
it did seem like Dana was open to it. I don't know about Ray. He said in an interview that he thought enough time had kind of passed where they weren't going to do anything more with it. But then she had said basically, you know, never say never to like projects and stuff, because sometimes things get put, you know, in hiatus forever, and then someone comes along with a really good offer and a good story or something and brings it back.
Oh, did Dana De Lorenzo say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like I don't know if they were even expecting the game to be made originally. Yeah, geez, the voice is really quiet compared to the music here.
Yeah, for some reason it seemed like Ash was louder than Pablo is. I do think that some of the audio needs to be rebalanced in this game.
Yeah, because some of the voices are hard to hear, and honestly, one of the best things about Evil Dead's the characters.
I completely agree.
So, like, if you're gonna make the characters hard to hear, that's kind of counterintuitive, since the whole point of bringing in, like, Ray to voice this character, or Dana to voice her own character, or, you know, even Bruce.
Shine bright, little light.
It kind of seems like then there's no point to bring them in if you can't hear them. You might as well just get a sound alike.
I agree.
So you kind of have to be careful with that, too.
Yeah,
Not that our whole
agree.
point is to just tear this game apart.
Well, no, but we're trying to give constructive criticism for anybody
They'll
that
never
may
see.
be watching that could be a part of this.
Yeah, but the people who made this, I'm sure, will never see this. Although they did see my one video.
Well, maybe they could see this video or be pointed to it and be like, hey, you know what, these are some very interesting points. Maybe I can bring this up at the next meeting.
Look at these nobodies. They have criticisms of the game we put our heart and soul into. Fuck them. I think that's usually what happens when someone brings up, like, a YouTube critique or something to the developers, not of Saber, because at least they were nice, you know, and I'm gonna check this house real quick.
I do think it's important, though, to take criticism from people and try to make things better.
No, I do too. I just think a lot of times it's easier to give criticism from an armchair position,
That's true.
playing a video game, than it is making one.
That's true.
And I think that a lot of developers get mad about that. And I was gonna say I don't know about Saber or even above them Embracer or anything like that, because like I said, there was a very kind member of the team who reached out to me and talked to me personally, and I made a video about that on the main channel actually when this game was, you know, right after it was announced and everything. And I guess for me, you know, that's much better than I've seen it handled in the past from people. But I do know that, like, you know, we have a friend who has worked at a very big major studio off and on, and we know other people who work in and around the games industry. I'm just checking these before you yell at me to do the thing. And it does seem like a lot of the times those people are very defensive of their work and very angry that some nobody is calling them out for a problem with their work or whatever who's not in the games industry. But the problem is that, like, you design these projects for yourself, right? But also for people.
And you're opening yourself up to criticism when you show it to people.
If you just want to make your video game for you and your friends, you make it for you and your friends as an indie game, you never release it.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are fan games. There probably is an Evil Dead fan game out there that's really good. So, you know,
Ash isn't there. No note, no clues. You know who could help find him? El Brujo. He's got shaman knowledge.
So we're just gonna leave that here. Uh-oh. Something's here, isn't it? No?
I don't know.
Right, where did I leave the car? Here. No, that's not my car.
Nope, that is not your car.
Where's
it should
my
be on
car?
the map. Did we even have a car?
I thought we had a car. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't have a car.
Well, now we do.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Now we have a car.
Good.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it goes both ways. Like, yeah, absolutely, it's easier to critique when you aren't the one making it, but don't release it to consumers if you don't want the consumer opinion.
I agree. And also, consumer opinions make things better. I mean, like, even our criticism with remixing the game audio, we have knowledge behind that because we mix audio in all of our videos, like, all the time, you know? So that's not even something that...
that we don't know about?
Yeah, is, like, out of our realm of knowledge, you know? So, a lot of times we try to criticize things that we know about and know could be easier to fix, instead of saying, like, oh, they should add in, like, a humongous scene with, like, Pablo, like, stretching his legs over the mountain and, like, having a Deadite underneath him. And
I'd watch it.
I don't know. Something dumb like that.
I mean, I'm sure I have those. I make wish lists and requests and stuff, too, but I don't really ever expect any of it to be added to the game. Really, the reason I do it is to show people that fans have good ideas.
Yeah.
And because, like, a lot of times it's like, here's what fan ideas are. I wrote a Rule 34 NSFW Wattpad post about why Pablo and Ash belong together, even though there's no...
What the heck?
Even though that's never, like, hinted at in the show. Or, like, I wrote a thing about how Thor and Loki technically should have a sexual relationship.
What the
Like, this is the
heck?
kind of stuff that a lot of times fan opinions and stuff get pointed to. Or, like, I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but, like, Destiel, where, like, there was really nothing aimed at that in the entire show of Supernatural, and then
kinda ran with it.
fans kept, like, bringing it up over and over again, and then some writer was like, hey, let's do this. And even the people who... Oh, okay. I guess that just kills you. And even the people who played the characters weren't into it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I think a lot of times fan opinion is sadly seen as, like, I want these two characters to rub parts together.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's a lot of fans who have good ideas for things, like game mechanics and things like that. Look at someone, I always say Christian Whitehead. You know, he's the guy, whoa, that all loaded in. He's the guy who, you know, made Sonic Mania, or he was the head of the team, essentially, and he was just at Sega. In terms of Sega, he didn't even work there originally. He was just a fan who kind of made ports of the classic games for things. He made some fan creation stuff with Sonic. He messed around with it and had fun as a fan. And then eventually, after, you know, being successful with that original 2D style of Sonic platformer and video game, he caught the attention of Sega, and at a certain point they brought him in and said, hey, look, you know, we still want to make 3D Sonic games as well, but we want a game to appeal to people like you, the classic Sonic fan. Can you do that for us? And they gave him a team, and it wasn't a one-man thing, but without that one person, you wouldn't have had it either. So I think that you need to be... It goes both ways.
Open
There are
to people's ideas.
Yeah, because there are dumb fan ideas.
Yeah,
There are
you
absolutely.
sift past the dumb ones and find the good ones.
And we've had dumb fan ideas
That's
too.
true.
You know, like everybody does. It's certainly also not a here's why I'm more intelligent than you. Look, we did have a car.
Well, even with what the heck?
We had a car originally. We forgot because we were so in our discussion.
Oh,
and
well.
also we found out somebody close to us had a relative pass, and that made us really sad. So I think we're not at the top of our game right now.
That's true.
But we're trying.
I was gonna say, even professional writers have dumb ideas sometimes. Like even
Yeah, that's how
Even-
bad movies are made.
yeah, even professional people who are like paid to come up with ideas for like companies and stuff, not even just writers. Sometimes they have bad ideas, and then they have to go past them because that's a big part of brainstorming about these big things. Is sometimes you got to throw out some bad ideas before you can get to the really good ones. And that goes with fans too, is sometimes you got to look past some of the bad ones and find the really good ones, because it's really important, I think, for a lot of these younger fans too, who may not have great ideas or may not be very good at writing fan fiction. I think it's good for them to be able to put those ideas out there and be able to get better at their writing and stuff, because eventually they could be the next Christian Whitehead, you know?
Yeah, they really could. Why did the car blow up? Why did they make a point that I should be able to run over Deadites with the car if the car is just going to get destroyed right away?
Because I think it's easier to run over Deadites and not Elagosses.
Oh. I thought these were just kind of...
I think these are supposed to be mini Elagosses again.
Oh. So is my car just dead?
I don't know, I think so. Because, like, Elagos spits out electricity. Normal Deadites don't do that. I think that might be affecting the car, but I don't know. I don't know how much they thought into that.
Would you say that's a fan idea?
Yeah. I'm not sure how much they thought into that or what, like, mechanics they put into that, but I'd assume that's kind of what's going on.
That makes sense. Yeah, maybe that is what it is. I really don't know. I do know that I now have no car.
Well,
That's okay.
Pablo needed take a walk anyway. He had a lot of McDonald's earlier.
Every time you talk about Pablo, I think of that douchey Star Wars writer, in my opinion, douchey Star Wars writer, Pablo Hidalgo.
Ugh.
That guy who, remember, told Star Wars Theory, like, to fuck himself for crying. That's my interpretation of it. That's my opinion. Because, like, basically, remember he tweeted on Twitter, like, that you shouldn't get so emotional over this stuff or whatever. That was kind of what his tweet implied, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he was mad people didn't like what he wrote.
That's what we think, yeah. But, I don't know. That's
I just think it's
so
really
stupid. Well, those guys are so petty.
It's really immature and petty, I think, for people like that, or even like some video game developers to, instead of taking constructive criticism, go and like lash out and be like, well, you're not a writer, or you're not a professional game developer, or you're not a professional director.
Imagine if somebody put like a pile of shit on your plate at a restaurant and you said this is bad and they said you're not a cook.
Yeah, so
Stupid.
like basically they're telling you like you should go like fall in a ditch. And I just think that's so immature. That's like what children do when they're told, like, oh, maybe you should try to use shapes when you're drawing. You know, like how art teachers tell you that,
Yeah.
and then the kid will get offended and be like, what, you don't like my art? That's a
No,
child.
I don't like your art, you stupid dumb bitch kid.
Yeah, that's a child thing to do.
Then you
that's,
hit 'em.
That's not a professional adult thing to do, and I think it's pretty ridiculous when people act like constructive criticism can't be a thing now, because apparently it's mean.
Well, everybody does that, though. You do that, too.
I know,
I think
I do
a lot
that
of people
sometimes.
get very easily wrapped up in their stuff and they,
But
get offended.
But what I'm trying to say is, I am also pretty young, and I didn't really have great figures growing up, and I have you now to help me remember that
Uh-oh.
sometimes, people being constructive isn't them being mean, and it's something that I'm still learning as I become more of an adult, and I think that's something that's important for other adults to learn, is that sometimes in life, especially if you are an artist of any sort, whether that's making video games or what have you, you're gonna get a lot of constructive criticism, and you need to take it with a grain of salt and at least consider it sometimes. Because you give me constructive criticism sometimes, and actually some of your ideas are really good. And
some of them aren't.
And sometimes I have to think about that and be like, just because you had a good idea that I didn't come up with, that doesn't make me bad. That just means that I am in the presence of somebody who also has good ideas sometimes, and I should listen to them.
I typically like to think of it as I'm better than you.
That makes sense.
But the way that you're thinking of it is probably a healthier way for you to take it.
That makes sense, of course.
For me, it has to do more with how I'm better than you.
But, that's how I felt for a while, is like when somebody would come up with an idea that I thought was better than mine. Sometimes I'd even think that with my sister. I'd think, well, maybe they're just a better artist than me. Maybe I should give up. But that's not...
Your sister's not better at anything than you are than eating.
You'd be surprised. She's actually a really good artist. But, that's the thing is, you gotta try to understand that you are worth a lot, too, and you need to understand that other people are worth a lot, too. And you need to take these ideas like a community, because... Oh my.
This is really hard.
No, I understand.
You can finish your thought. I haven't been doing this for very long, so why don't you finish your thought while I start this, and then we'll cut ahead. You want to work as a community, it's not bad to...
Yeah, mostly what I'm just trying to say is, like, a lot of, the best art pieces in the world, like video games and movies and statues and stuff like that, a lot of times they were made with a lot of people who came together and had these great ideas and put them all together. And I think that's something important to think about, is you gotta try and be open to these other people who are wanting to help and not just shut them
Make things a
down.
bit easier.
Yeah, and don't be so petty.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's a difference. Like, if people are, like, personally insulting you, like, well, you're a fucking idiot because this or that or this.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
not constructive. That's just mean.
Like, okay, fine. And I will levy something like that at someone like Pablo Hidalgo because they do it to other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I think that kind of stuff. And, you should take the moral high ground. I agree with you. But sometimes it's kind of fun to get down in the mud with these people who try and really drag people down to make them feel bad.
And treat them the way they're treating others.
I know that that's not good. I'm not trying to act like a role model here on this. Like, in fact, don't do that. like whoever, not that anyone gives any crap what my advice, but if you're listening to that, I'm not suggesting you do that. What I'm saying is sometimes I do that. I have an example of that. I don't know if I should give it now or if I should wait until later, because
you can say it now.
Well, because I don't know if I want to force people to have to watch this part again.
It's okay. Just say it now and then we'll cut out.
Are you sure? Because it's a story. It's about what happened today.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you do that later? I was just gonna say a short thought.
Okay. You're a short thought. You're a short girl, and you're,
Thank you.
thick and
Okay.
yummy and curvaceous and
Anyway, something that I learned a lot in school too is treat others the way you want to be treated.
I literally just said I don't do that though.
But like the thing is, if you want to be treated nicely and so you're nice to other people, the thing is, if somebody's going to be mean to you, then it would make sense to be kind of an asshole back to them because they're treating you the way they want to be treated.
Right.
And I know that sounds like a bad piece of logic, but it's also kind of treating people the way you want to be treated in a sort of way, if that makes sense.
It is, yeah. I mean, you should take the moral high ground when you can, but there are times where I certainly don't, because it's like, not that it's my job to teach people morality, but like, okay, well, this asshole is not going to get it or change unless I engage in this way.
Sometimes you have to take a hands-on approach.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, just sometimes people need to understand how it feels to be on the receiving end of certain things they do to other people. That's kind of what I think. But
it makes them think.
It's also not really your job to do that, though. So, like, I think you could easily argue that's me being petty. It's just sometimes I do that to people.
I'd kind of argue that it's everybody's job to do that, to try and make society a better place.
Maybe, but I also think society would be a better place if everybody turned the other cheek and just kind of told someone, like, hey, nobody likes you. Because also, like, a lot of times it sends more of a message to kind of just isolate. This sounds psychologically manipulative. But genuinely, I think society would be a better place if everybody just kind of band together and psychologically exiled / pushed away everyone who was like that. And what I mean is, like, every time there's a dick, just no one is their friend.
Yeah.
And no one wants anything to do with them.
Until they learn to act right.
Right. The problem is a lot of those people...
allowed to change.
Well, the problem is a lot of those people become shooters and shit because they never learn anything.
That's sad.
So, like, they don't have the capacity to learn. They just become a psychopath. But I genuinely do think a lot of people should kind of just be kept at arm's length by others because they're not worth your time and they are just kind of there to antagonize you. And so because of that, they are not deserving of your attention. I know that kind of flies in the face of what I said before about, like, give them the taste of their own medicine. I'm just saying I do that. I'm not saying other people should. Yeah, and I also think that, you know, like, give them a taste of their own medicine. It becomes very convoluted. Like, somebody runs over your mom with a car, you don't go find their mom and run her over with a car. You know, there's, like, very much specific situations where this does not apply.